Hi class. Today we will be working on how to partition fractions. So when we have bar models, if we have our fraction pieces, it's really easy because they're already in exactly perfect sized pieces that line up exactly how we need them. But probably not going to be carrying around our fraction bars for the rest of our life. So we need another strategy that we can use with just a pencil and a piece of paper, which is drawing the fraction bars. So you're going to follow along with the video and learn how to partition fraction bar models. Now, one thing I want you to notice is right now we just have one whole, halves, fourths, sixths, eighths, tenths, and twelfths. Same here. The reason we only have those is because on this side of the page, we are partitioning a whole. We're splitting our whole when the denominator is an even number. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 are all even numbers. So go ahead and circle even number. If your denominator is an even number, then we can do this. All right, and of course we have halves, fourths, sixths, eighths, tenths, and twelfths. Let's get started. All right, now I know I didn't have to remind you to put your name and the date because you always do that. All right, when we start with halves, we have our halves here. We, of course, always have to partition the whole, so we're going to start with the whole. Please make sure you're drawing these skinny because we're going to do it together, and then you're going to do it a couple times after that as your own practice. So here's my one whole. I need to split it in half. So, of course, we say, all right, we're going to start in the middle and draw a line. Now, I just made a common mistake. Do I have two equal halves, 1/2 and 2/2? I do not. My half should be exactly in the middle. So I need to try that again. So I have to get out my little eraser and erase that part. Can't have that. It is not perfect. In order to draw fraction bars, we need to do it exactly in the middle. So if I'm not sure, I can make a line up here and say, all right, I'm going to take my fingers. Yep, that's about half. Maybe right here. Great, so now we've done that one time. Now we're going to do it again. We're going to make our hole the same size. You can see I drew mine all the way over, and then I like to draw a line down, and then I connect my bottom too. Okay, I'm going to start in the middle again. Yep, that looks like half, and draw my line down. And one more time. Draw my whole, and my whole needs to be split in half. Now, I know some of you are like, this is a waste of time, Miss Tugthorn, but really, I do see it a lot where people are not drawing their pieces exactly in half, and then when we get to something larger, like eighths, tenths, or twelfths, and sometimes even sixths, their pieces are not the same size. It even happens with fourths. So we're going to move on to fourths. All right, so first we have to draw our whole. I'm going to draw my whole the same size right next to the word fourths. And just like when we had half, we had to split it in half first. And do you see how I have two halves? It's the same thing here. I had one whole, I split it exactly in half, and now I have two halves. But when we look here, when we split it in half, our fourths are exactly half of a half. So I'm going to split this half in half. Now I have 1/4 and another fourth, and then split this half in half. And I have another fourth and another fourth. So we went from having half and half to having 4/4. Okay, now you're going to do that again. Draw your whole, split your whole in half, and each half in half again. Now I want you to do the last one by yourself. Split it in half, and each half in half. All right, now we have sixths, and sixths have an even number in the denominator. So we're going to have the same kind of situation here. Because we have an even number, we're going to first draw our whole. Make sure it's the same size as the ones above. We're going to draw our whole, and the first thing we're going to do is say, all right, well, sixths they still need to have a half. Because it's an even number, we can split it in half. So I'm first going to split my whole into halves. Now, if we look over here, in each half, we have 3 pieces. 1 piece, 2 pieces, 3 pieces. So on each side, I need 3 pieces over here and 3 pieces over here. You kind of have to eyeball. You have to say, all right, thirds. All right, those look almost like equal pieces. My first piece might be a little large, so maybe I could try that again. All right, I had to go back and erase that. So now I have thirds. They're pretty close. Okay, and then on the other side, I need thirds again. Now, if I count, I have in my whole 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces, or sixths. All right, your turn. Let's try it again. We have our next whole, same size. The first thing we're going to do is split it in half because 6 is an even number. The denominator is an even number, so it can be split in half. Alrighty, now we need to have 3 on this side, 3 equal pieces, and 3 equal pieces on this half. Then I have sixths. Now I thought we might run out of room, so we're actually going to come over here and do our next whole. Because sixths, eighths, tenths, and 12ths are where most kids have issues with the bar models. So the first thing we're going to do is split it in half. Hopefully you split it in half. And then split each half into thirds. All right, and then do your last one. Split it in half and split each half into 3 pieces. Now you have sixths. Hopefully each time you did it, it looked a little bit better. All right, now we're going to move on to eighths. I want to show you over here. My half continues all the way down, and eighths can be split in half. However, for eighths, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces on each half. So instead of having 3 pieces on each half, now we will have 4 pieces on each half to make 8 pieces in the whole. So we're going to make our eighths. First we're going to make the whole, and we need 8 pieces. So we're going to split it in half, and we need 4 pieces over here and 4 pieces over here. Just like in sixths, how we needed 3 pieces on this half and 3 pieces on this half to make 6 pieces total, we need 4 and 4. So eighths are actually similar to fourths, as we can make fourths by splitting each half in half. And we remember from our fraction tiles that there are 2 eighths and 1 fourth. So I have 1/8, 1/8, and then I can split each fourth in half and get 8/8 total. Let's try it again. Make your hole. Split your hole in half. Now we have halves. We need 4 pieces over here and 4 pieces over here to make 8 pieces. To get 4 pieces over here, I can split my half in half. And over here, my half in half. Now I still need 4 pieces. I only have 2, so I better split them in half again. Split them in half again. Now I have 8ths. I want you to do that 2 more times. Go ahead. Do that. Pause the video. Now, when we go to tenths, we can see that if we split one whole in half, that tenths can also be split in half. So, now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces on this half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces on this half. So for our tenths, we're going to start off by making one whole. And because 10 has an even number in the denominator, we can split it in half. And my halves weren't perfect, so I'm going to try that again. In half. In order to get to 10, I need 5 pieces on this side and 5 pieces on this side. Now, we will, on the back of this paper, talk about tenths a little bit more. But for tenths, we kind of have to take a piece out of the middle. So sometimes I put my little finger there and take a piece out of the middle. And then I split each of the remaining sides in half. Let me show you that again. I take a piece out of the middle, and then these 2 big pieces on the sides of each half, I split in half. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces on this half. We're going to do the same thing again over here. Take a piece out of the middle and split each of these larger pieces in half. That wasn't quite perfect. This piece is a little bit bigger than the rest, but we should have 10 pieces. Let's count. 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10, 10/10. All right, let's do another one. Draw your hole. Because 10, the denominator, tenths, is an even number, we're going to split it in half. And we're going to take a piece out of the middle and split each of these side pieces in half. Oh, that doesn't quite look like equal pieces, so I'm going to erase this part really quick and try this again. There we go. Those look better. Now, on the other side, I'm going to do the same thing. Take a piece out of the middle. Ooh, I can already see that this piece and this piece are not the same size. So I'm going to have to go back and erase this again and try another time. All right, take a piece out of the middle and then split each of these larger pieces in half. Okay, I've had a lot of experience drawing tenths, and even I have to go back and fix them. So it's not bad to go back and fix them, but we do want equal pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces in the hole. And I can even draw the hole like this so that I know that there are 10 pieces in the hole. Now it's your turn. I want you to come over here and try it again. I'm going to walk you through it. Split the hole in half. Then, once you have halves, take a piece out of the middle of one side of the half. Take a piece out of the middle, and then split the larger pieces in half. Okay, come over to the other side, take a piece out of the middle, Split each of the larger pieces in half. Count your pieces. Do you have 10 pieces? All right, now let's do another one. Here's your whole. Make tenths. Pause the video to do that. All right, back to the top again. All right, back to the top again. Let's look at our bar model pieces. So twelfths. Twelfths, just like half, fourths, sixths, eighths, tenths, and twelfths, can all be split in half. And then on each half, we have 1 piece, 2 pieces, 3 pieces, 4 pieces, 5 pieces, 6 pieces, or 6 twelfths in one half, and 6 twelfths on the other half. I want you to notice something though. Just like fourths, which the half was split in half, twelfths can also be split in half. So after we split our whole in half, we're going to split it into fourths and then count how many twelfths there are in 1/4. We have 1 twelfth, 2 twelfths, 3 twelfths in each fourth. So we will have 3, 3, 3, and 3. And we know 3, 6, 9, 12. 4 sets of 3 twelfths is 1 whole. Let's go down and try to draw them ourselves. All right, go ahead and draw your whole. We're going to split our whole in half, just like we have for all these other ones, because 12 in the denominator is an even number, so we can split it in half. Then we're going to split each half in half, which would make it fourths. And we know to get to 12 pieces, we need 3, 6, 9, 12, or 3 pieces in each. So we're going to split the twelfths into thirds, into thirds, into thirds. And you're drawing 2 lines, not 3, even though we're saying thirds, because there's 3 pieces. Let's count. 1, 2, 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3 pieces. There's 6. 1, 2, 3 pieces. There's 9. 1, 2, 3 pieces. There's 12. Let's try it again. Make your whole. We're going to split our whole in half. Split each half in half again. There's a half. There's a half. And then we're going to split each of our pieces into 3 smaller pieces. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now I have 1 12th, 2 12ths, 3 12ths, 4 12ths, 5 12ths, 6 12ths, 7 12ths, 8 12ths, 9 12ths, 10 12ths, 11 12ths, 12 12ths. Perfect. I want you to do this 2 more times. So split each whole in half. Then split each half into fourths. Then each fourth into 3 pieces. Then count. Do you have 12 pieces? I want to hear you. 1 12th, 2 12ths, 3 12ths. Go ahead and try the last one on your own. Great job. All right, I'm really proud of you. What I really wanted you to learn from doing this was when the denominator is an even number, then we always start by splitting or partitioning our bar model in half. Because if they're in half, then that helps us compare the fractions much easier. I'm feeling a little silly right now, so I'm going to say this because I've watched too many YouTube videos. Go ahead and like and subscribe if this video helped you and if you want to see more like this. Too bad for you guys though, because you have to do the back side. So we're going to keep going even if you didn't like and subscribe. Hopefully you got a laugh though. So when we flip over this page, we can see that there's actually two different ones that we're going to do. And I want you to get your pencil out and circle this with me. We're going to do partitioning a whole when the denominator is a multiple of 5. So on the other side, it was multiples of 2. Now we're doing the denominator is a multiple of 5. And then below, when partition, and here are our fraction bar pieces where I have wholes, fifths, and tenths that we're going to use for these two. Then below, partitioning a whole when the denominator is a multiple of 3. So here we have a whole. We can partition it into thirds, sixths, twelfths, and I threw in ninths even though we don't have those fraction bar pieces. They are easy to partition if you can partition thirds, sixths, twelfths. So we're going to learn that anyways because it's helpful. Even if we don't use ninths a lot in 4th grade, they do help you in life. So just threw that in there as a bonus. We got to circle it. So when the denominator is a multiple of 3, we know 3, 6, 9, 12, all multiples of 3. Okay? These are a little bit harder than splitting them in half, so we're actually going to do 4 on each one. We'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 bar models on each of these. Let's get started. So quickly, let's go over. Multiples of 5 would be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, etc. So we really could partition a fraction bar into any of these pieces if we can do fifths. So let's learn our fifths. All right, start with your whole. Remember to draw it skinny so that you have room, because we have to fit 4 of these on here. Okay, so we're going to start with a whole. So when I do fifths, I actually take my finger and put it over the middle. And I can't show you my finger on here, so I'm actually just going to shade in this part where my finger would go. Could you please put your finger on your paper there and draw 2 lines there. We're just going to take out a piece in the middle. Then you're going to look at these other sides and say, all right, I'm going to split those each into 2 pieces. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces in my whole. Let's try that again. Put your finger here. Take out a piece in the middle. See your 2 larger pieces on the side. We're going to partition. I need to quit saying split. We're going to partition each of those into 2 pieces. Now I have 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5. I want you to try this again over here. Take out the piece in the middle and partition each of the larger pieces on the sides in half. And again, draw your hole, take out the piece in the middle, and partition your 2 larger pieces on the side into halves. If for some reason you make your middle piece too small, and then your pieces are not equal, then you need to go back and try it again. You might have to do it a couple times. Maybe you made it too big. Maybe you did thirds. Those aren't equal pieces. I need to try that again. And with practice, this will come. I feel like that was very good, so I'm going to try one more time. Okay, better. Now tenths. So here we can see our fifths, tenths are pretty similar. We can see that each of our tenths is 2/5. So 1/5 is the same as 2/10. So when we draw our whole, there's not a lot of room on the tenth, so I gotta make these really skinny. Okay, I'm gonna split it in half. I could split it in half like we learned, but because I know that I might be comparing it to fifths, I could also make fifths first and then make tenths. This way, eventually I can compare fifths and tenths by just looking at these two bars. And I can see, just like our manipulatives, that 1/5 is the same as 2/10. 2/5 is the same as 4/10. There's my 4/10. Okay, so we want to do this to help us. So we could get to tenths by using half first if we are comparing it to maybe fourths or eighths or another number that has an even number in the denominator. But if we're comparing tenths and fifths, then we're going to want to make fifths first. So let's try that. We're going to draw our whole again and split it into fifths. So I'm going to take the piece out of the middle first, and then partition each of my larger sides in half to make fifths. But I need tenths, so I need to cut each of them in half, because 1/5 is the same as 2/10. All right. Draw yours really skinny over here so you can fit two more in above our fraction bars. Okay, go ahead, make fifths, and then partition each of your fifths into tenths. Pause the video to do that. All right, now we're moving on to partitioning our whole, and the denominator is a multiple of 3. So I want to hear your multiples of 3. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. All of those we could have as a denominator, and we could start by splitting it into thirds. So for thirds, we're going to draw a whole. We always start with a whole. And thirds, you just have to get really good at eyeballing for thirds. So you're going to say, all right, I'm going to split each of these into 3 pieces. Miss Tuxhorn has been making thirds for years, so she's pretty good at it. If she made an error and she made her first piece look like this, those are not thirds. They are not the same size pieces. So gotta erase it and try again. Alrighty. Probably could do a little bit better. One more try, Miss Tuxhorn. Come on, you can do it. I think I just drew it in the exact same spot that it was. Those look better. Alrighty, let's try another one. Draw your whole. And we're going to partition it into thirds. Beautiful. Okay, 2 more times. Draw your whole. Partition it into thirds. Draw your whole. Partition it into thirds. So we can see here, when we partition, we're only drawing 2 lines, but we're making 3 pieces. 1 piece, 2 pieces, 3 pieces. All right, now we have sixths. So, because 6 is a multiple of 3, we can partition it into thirds first. Now on the front side, we partitioned it in half first because 6 is also a multiple of 2. But here we can see that 2/6 is the same as 1/3. So when I draw my whole, I can partition it into thirds, as long as I partition my thirds well. And then I can say, all right, 1/3 is the same as 2/6. 1/3 is the same as 2/6. 1/3 is the same as 2/6. Now I have 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, 5/6, 6/6. Woohoo! All right, let's try it again. One whole, partitioned into thirds, and then I can partition each of my thirds in half to make sixths. I'm going to fix my last one because that one is not a very good sixth. All right, I want you to try it 2 more times. Draw your whole, partition it into thirds, then partition each third into 2 pieces. And you should have 6 pieces. Count your pieces to make sure there's 6. All right, last one you're going to do by yourself. Thirds, and then partition each third into 2 pieces. All righty, we're on 12ths. Yay, yay, yay. We can see that 12ths also can be partitioned into thirds. We can see there's 4 12ths in this third, 4 12ths in the second third, and 4 12ths in the third third. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to draw my 12ths bar model right underneath my 6ths so that we can see this. I'm going to split it into thirds. Now we know that 12ths can also be split in half first because 12 is a multiple of 2, but it's also a multiple of 3. We can have 3 times 4 to get to 12, which is why we need 4 12ths in each of our thirds. Looking up at my bar model up here, my fraction pieces, I can see that the 1/6 is the same as 2 12ths. So I'm going to split my bars model into sixths. Okay, this helps us if we're comparing sixths and 12ths, or thirds and 12ths. And then there are 2 12ths in each sixth. So I'm going to partition each sixth into 2 pieces. Now let's count. 1 12th, 2 12ths, 3 12ths, 4 12ths, 5 12ths, 6 12ths, 7 12ths, 8 12ths, 9 12ths, 10 12ths, 11 12ths, 12 12ths. We are on fire. All right. Another whole. Partition it into thirds. Then partition each third into sixths. Sorry, partition the bar model into sixths, or make each third partitioned in half. It's the same, saying this exact same thing, just 2 different ways, not to confuse anybody. And then we have 6 pieces. To get 12 pieces, we need to partition each of them in half again. Alrighty, you're probably getting tired of listening to me talk, so your turn. Split your whole into thirds, then partition your thirds in half, and then you have 6 pieces, or sixths, and then partition your sixths into 12ths by partitioning them in half. One more time. So you might be saying, man, is there an easier way for you to say this, Miss Tuxhorn? Possibly. You have your whole, put it into thirds, cut each third in half, cut each sixth in half. Bum, ba-dum. Almost done, except for I forgot I threw in ninths. All right. We don't have ninths pieces, but ninths aren't hard, so we're going to go over it. Alrighty. I'm do this in red. Ninths, you can see, are equivalent. 3/9 are equivalent to 1/3. 3/9 here. Because 9 is a multiple of 3, we can partition it. So we're going to start by drawing our hole. And then we're going to split our hole into thirds. Okay. There we go. Now, in order to get to 9 pieces, we need 3 here, 3 here, and 3 here. So we're going to split each third into thirds. Each third into thirds. Each third into thirds. So, because we have ninths and twelfths here, if we shaded in some of them, we could compare ninths and twelfths, which we will get to. All right, one more time. Not really, there's actually 3 more. Draw your bar model hole. Split it into thirds. And then partition each third into thirds, or into 3 pieces. And we should have 1/9, 2/9, 3/9, 4/9, 5/9, 6/9, 7/9, 8/9, 9/9. Woo! I'm getting really tired. It's getting kind of late. I can tell because I'm starting to say woo a lot. So I hope it's entertaining for you, children. Are you ready? There's my hole. Hopefully you know what we're going to do. We're going to split it into thirds because we can partition things that have multiples of 3. Then once we have our thirds, those are not equal. I'm going to do that again. Once I have my 3 equal pieces, I'm going to split each equal piece into 3 more pieces. Do that. Then draw your very last bar model for this worksheet. And you're probably like, thank you. How many bar models have we done so far? I don't know. What is 4 times however many pieces we've done? All right, split it into thirds. And then split each third into 3 pieces. And I wanted to say the word partition. Hopefully you've heard me say partition so many times that it's forever stuck in your mind and you're excited. All right, I'm going to go to sleep. But I'm glad that you did so well on this and that you're going to rock bar models for the rest of your math career. Signing out. Remember to like and subscribe.